Hello, everybody, and welcome here to another Kerfuffle Showcase. And I'm delighted to have with me today Christian Scandora from Movinghub. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Simon. How are you?
Good, yeah, not bad. So it's getting into summer. What's not to like, is it? There, all looking
not so much rain.
Exactly right, exactly right. So, Christian, we've got a really interesting webinar now to talk about Movinghub. There, title is "Moving Made Simple, Convenient, and Carefree." Looking at your website, you've got on there. You say you help people connect utilities, find better deals, and compare home services in one place at once and for free. Okay, you've got my attention with that kind of headline. Give us just an overview, though, if you can do, about just to elaborate on that. What's Movinghub about? What problems does it solve?
Yeah, it solves numerous problems. So basically, we are a system where you can refer your customers into us, and that's not just your tenants, but also your purchasers and your homeowners. I'll probably touch on that a bit more later on. Basically, they come through to us. We're fully white labeled, so we will call them, or they can go on a digital journey, basically with the hope that we will connect them to services on your behalf. And by, obviously we take care of council tax, water, which is one less job for an office to do, but we'll look to upsell them onto other services such as broadband, TV, which really makes their home move a lot less stressful. So you're helping your customers indirectly through us, but also earning a commission off the top. So that's basically what we do. We have an extensive marketplace, and we're there to help your people, your customers, move into their property by connecting to their services.
Well, first of all, congratulations on a really tight elevator pitch. Sometimes when I ask for an elevator pitch, I wonder how high is the building, but that's a really concise one there. So these are services that are, first of all, going to benefit anyway the mover, whether that's on sales and lettings, and as you said, that's a really, really key point there. But secondly, as well, to give that agent the potential to earn commission as well. But at its core for them is a free service. Is that right, to get on board?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely free. No lock-in contract, no obligation. We do all the setup. Again, we'll talk about probably onboarding later on, I'm sure. But yeah, it's minimal effort, no cost, but you can earn money from it, which, coming from the industry, knowing how it's been hit in recent years with a tenant fee ban and all those sorts of things, it's nice to bring some extra revenue in as opposed to having to spend money elsewhere. So absolutely no outlay, but it can earn you money.
And if I understand anything about these kind of services, I mean, obviously, it doesn't turn into it's not like a gold rush from day one, is it? But actually, over a period of time, this builds and builds and builds into a really healthy revenue stream.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. And we're very transparent as well with Movinghub. So you'd have a hub login where you can obviously refer customers through, and again, we can talk about that more later. But we're very strong with reporting. So real time, you can see all the customers you referred, what they've connected to, how much you earn from that, and an overview of what you've got coming in this month. So you can really plan ahead and see, what's coming into the office. And it can, like you said, it snowballs. That's the word. Over time, it builds, and it can be a substantial amount of money coming in for sure.
Brilliant. And just to obviously qualify your good self as well, you're not coming at this from a prop tech ivory tower, are you? You've obviously lived and breathed the industry. You've been in it on both sides as an agent and obviously on the tech side as well. Can you just give us a bit of background about yourself as well, so that we know obviously why we should listen to you?
Well, this is where the elevator pitch gets long. No, I'm just kidding. How long have you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm originally an estate agent. I sold real estate in England way back. And then I did over property sales in Spain, like what that person in Spain who shows you around. And yeah. I picked the right time to be doing that because it was booming then, not so much now. No. Then I moved to Australia and I went into residential sales in Brisbane, moved down to Sydney, and I was in project marketing. Commission only in Australia, so that was interesting when you work Saturdays and Sundays and it's commission only. But then I moved into prop tech, and I was a state sales manager for the biggest CRM system in Australia. Grew it from 50 offices to over 500 over a 4.5 year period. And then I moved back to UK. The same company created a role for me here where I sold something called Rent Find Inspector, which is an inventory inspection app. And then we released a CRM system to the UK. And then just last year, November, December last year, Movinghub came along. I saw a really good opportunity. I did my research. I saw how they were different to the competitors, and I was genuinely excited. And it was the right time for me to make the move. So after 14 years with my previous employer, I started afresh with Movinghub and loving every day at the moment. Started in January and kicking a lot of goals. It's really good.
So that's really interesting. So you've got a really rounded, you know, world view on real estate and project marketing. That's like the new home side of things in Australia. Is that right?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
That's right.
So you've really seen both sides, and and what do you think? Where do you think that? What do you think tech's role is to deliver at the moment for the estate agents? Clearly, agents are more overwhelmed or blessed, depending on which, or cursed,
Yeah.
which way, with the tech options there. What do you think the role of tech and services like Movinghub is there to do for an agent these days?
Well, I think they absolutely, to simplify it, it's got to be to make their life easier. But I think a lot of them fall down and they're actually trying to create a problem that doesn't exist. A lot of prop tech companies,
You hear that
and
a lot,
you know
right?
more about this than I do, I'm sure. But you know, I think it's just got to be to simplify things, to make their life easier, to benefit them in other ways. And for sure, Movinghub does that. You know, whether it be through integrations, which we may touch on in a little while, but it's just got to make their life easier. They're busy enough as it is. There's too many. You don't want your agents doing data entry all day, every day, because you're taking them away from what they're good at. You know, you want them selling, you want your admin people doing their bit, you want your letting people doing theirs. So I think too many prop techs make more work for people, or create, you know, trying to solve something that isn't a problem. Whereas, you know, this is making agents' life easier and making them some money as well, which is always nice.
So how do you reconcile both sides? That clearly agents are busy as well. You, at some point, I mean, I'm sure you can take a lot of the hassle factor away and everything else, but at some stage they've got to get involved in kind of proposing it. What do your best clients at Movinghub do that sets them aside maybe from the people that, you know, don't do as much with Movinghub on the referral side of things?
Yeah, I think if they integrate with a CRM, fantastic, you know, and we can talk about those in a minute. So it's no effort with some of those CRMs that it automatically sends the referrals through. So, you know, whether the staff are incentivized or not, we receive the referral and can go from there. Educating the staff, which we do anyway, to pre-position clients. So when you're talking with these clients, tell them that our concierge department will be in touch, and, you know, we're white labeled, so it won't be under our name, it will be under the office's name. So that makes that easier. But incentivizing them as well. And again, this is one where, you know, we pay a certain amount to the office, and the business owner of that office can then determine to incentivize their staff or not. Everyone's different. Yeah. But again, to allow the staff to create another revenue stream for them personally will incentivize them to use the system. And it really is minimal effort anyway. We're not asking them to do a lot. So yeah, for sure. But we help.
That seems to be one of the biggest mistakes, isn't it? Where the business owner can have the choice of either keeping the revenue or not sharing it out. But really, giving that ability to give it out to the team does make a huge difference in these kind of schemes, as far as I can see.
It does, a huge, you know, and that doesn't have to be within Movinghub. There's a little pie chart where the business owner can set it to 60-40 or whatever, and then it just automatically calculates what the referring agent gets, what the business gets. But others will say, well, 100% goes to the office, but it goes into a pool where, you know, twice a year we have a team building day and we do something really nice. So, you know, I think it's a mistake to not share it to the staff, especially, you know, we've got a cost of living crisis going on. Little bits make a big difference. So yeah, I think it's something that I advise companies when they come on board. Look, it's up to you, but it's really nice to incentivize your staff one way or another to help them benefit as well as the business. So it works well.
And you mentioned there, one of the things that jumped out for me is that if you position that correctly, again, I think, you know, probably many agents feel like this, you know, we're pushing too many services. But you mentioned if you can position it as a concierge service, that this should very much be seen as a value add, not as something you almost need to feel ashamed of, is it? Is that right? Is that the way that you mentioned you handhold the agents to get on board? Is that how you position it to sell to the movers?
Definitely. I mean, we've already jumped into sort of commercials and financial rewards already talking about that. But for me, that's secondary. The bigger part is this is something that, you know, Simon Well Real Estate do different to everybody else. This is our USP. I'm an ex-agent. I was always looking for something that we did better or different to someone else. And I'm busting that out at the valuation stage, you know. So people who use Movinghub really well, we've got all sorts of marketing material. When they're at the valuation, they're saying, look, you might have seen others, but this is what we do different. We won't only sell your home or let your home, but we'll help you move or your tenant move or purchase, and we'll make that process easier, you know. So, you know, we're always looking for USPs, and it is a massive one to say we have this concierge department. And it's important, you touched on it there, it's one of our USPs. They're not dealing with Movinghub. They're dealing with Simon Well Concierge. I mean, that's massive. You know, it's it makes them more likely to talk with us because they recognize the name, it's trusted, but also it sort of builds your role at your profile as well. So it's win-win really. It's you know, I think it's really important.
So this isn't about an ego trip trying to build, obviously you want to build your own brand in the industry and everything else, but in terms of going to the consumer, you're quite happy to reinforce the agent's own brand out there with that white labeled service.
I got asked that question the other day. Well, how do you expand your brand? How do you get your name out there? Well, we're not looking to do that. We're looking to help our partners, our agencies, get their name out and build their business. Because when they build their business, then we do better from it. So, so no, not at all. We're fully white labeled. You can call it what you want. You know, Simon Well Connections, Simon Well Concierge, or something completely different brand, whatever it is. Then when that person goes, they can opt for a callback from, you know, our people. So the minute they get referred in, they get an email, welcome to Simon Well Connections, you'll be contacted soon. If you want to continue online, click here. And then they go on a digital journey, which is all white labeled, and they can choose their own best deals of broadband or whatever. Or, and to be honest, in the UK, most people opt for a phone call. We just like talking with people. If they opt for a phone call, one of our UK based people we'll call them and talk them through all the best deals, and they'll get better deals almost always by going through us than going direct to Sky or Virgin, because we've negotiated better, you know, packages. So it's win-win really. So you're helping your customers, you know, they're going on this digital journey or they're receiving a phone call, it's all under your brand. And, you know, we can even feed through to your review site automatically. So when they've connected, they get a link to post a review, which will go onto your review site, and they think it's all smoke and mirrors. They think they're dealing with Simon Well Connections, but they're actually dealing with us, you know. So
that's really nice. And I'm guessing with so many of these things, timing is all important. What stage do you engage with the mover? Is it literally from the very beginning? What I'm trying to get is how does that digital journey kick on? Is there a magic algorithm to all of this? How do you get people into the mix, as it were?
Well, it depends. I mean, if it's with an integration, with some of them, for example, Reaper is automatic. So, you know, there's no effort. And so we have to choose a trigger point there. When is that being referred through to us? So for sales, you've got a much bigger window. You know, there's a lot longer between exchange and completion for them to make that decision. But exchange is the trigger point there with that, with Reaper. With rentals, it depends. It can be around the let agreed or you know, references passed, and then that will be the trigger point depending on the CRM. If someone's doing it manually, which is minimal effort, it really is up to them. We would suggest those points, but they do have reports within Movinghub where they can see, and there's one report in particular which will say closed applications where they weren't successful. And we had an office recently where it's a bar chart, and one of them was off the scale and it was already organized. And they looked at that and went, hold on a minute, we're referring too late. So they changed their behavior, they referred earlier, and they brought that right down, and they've had more connections off the back of it. So yes, in answer to your question, I would suggest exchange, let agreed around that point, but it's one of those where you can tweak it as and when to suit, or, you know, based on reports.
Great. And how does it work going forwards? I mean, do you continue to nurture clients on a sort of an ongoing basis? Is it just around the move process, or will you continue to nurture them in months and years ahead?
That's a really good question. So so we, as well as we can create a little microsite all branded up, which you can pop on your website, you know, so they can at any point visit your website, and they don't have to be moving, in answer to your question. That's always my focus. That's when, you know, when we talk about these things, but they don't have to be moving. So it can be embedded on your website. But we also have something called a home portal, which is basically like a tenant login or a purchaser login, where they can go in and they can shop around whenever they want. So at the moment, energy's turned off, not just for us, but for others, for obvious reasons. That will be on again soon, I think within the next month or two. And I think it'll become a real competitive marketplace then. People will be shopping around for the best deal. I've got a smart meter at home. My wife's clipping me around the ear when I've taken a shower too long, because she knows it's cost us 50p. So that's another story. But yeah, I think this home portal is somewhere where you can make them more sticky, which in particular for sales, where they're seeing your brand again, they're revisiting it in 6 months, shopping around. You got me going now, Simon. And off the back of that, you can set up workflows within the system where it can drip feed them every 6 months and send them an email saying, hey, it's been 6 months since you moved in. why not visit your home portal and shop around for better deals? So there's some really fantastic
that's fantastic, because look, we're all looking, you know, look at how many agents are looking for an excuse to prospect and pick up the phone to somebody and you know, artificially talk about you know, what's going on in the area or anything else like that, whereas actually you've got a really soft benefit here, haven't you? A really natural one there, seeing the brand time in, time out. Hopefully they're seeing it in a really positive way if they're engaging and getting better deals as well. That you know, that just, it's not that once in a then you know, an annual call, or even worse, every 5-10 years when they're coming or moving again. There is a residual brand awareness there, just building up over time, isn't it?
Exactly. So when they do look to do something, they might not even consider anyone else, because you're the one who serviced them, you know, organically over that time. So are they going to talk to friends? They're going to mention you because you're front of mind. Coming from a CRM background, for me, that's huge. You know,
it is.
Completion, 10-year follow-up plan. Every year they get an SMS or email reminding them. It's again just raising their awareness. So it's the same logic really, and you can build this home portal. It's almost like a mini Wix website builder. Change the brand, change the font, change the color, the pages, and design a mini website. It's all included in the system, and like I said, drive them there through these automatic emails or SMSs every 3 months, and you know, just get them, like you said, brand awareness.
And you've got a GDPR, you know, everyone's favorite GDPR, obviously best practice though as well, isn't it? Don't suddenly start spamming these people again every 3-5 years, as it were. That continual contact with legitimate interest backing it up as well is a very real benefit on the of this. And what I love about it as well though is it's that, you know, obviously you've got home movers or people on the letting side of things moving as well. But actually, you've got the potential to monetize all contacts, haven't you? So as long as you've got a vibrant brand that is getting attention and everything else, even if you haven't managed to actually track that person at the time, there is the potential to get money off them, whether it's at this moment or down the line.
Exactly. It's not just that initial, right, we pump them into the system, they've connected, you earn money off that, and obviously there's the other benefits as well. But if they then revisit your home portal in 2 years' time and connect to, you get a full commission from that as well. So it's a lifetime thing.
That's really important there. So you do continue to get commission.
Correct.
As long as you're keeping it. Okay, so yeah, that's great as well.
They might have gone with another agent, you know, down the line, but they still revisiting your home portal and shopping around. I mean, you know, it's ongoing. As long as it goes through your home portal or through you somehow, you get a recurring commission for it.
That's really fair. How do most people use that that portal? Is it just linking off theirs, almost as if it's framed within their own website? How do most people set that up?
Yeah, exactly that. Whether it's you know, built within their website as another tab, you know, obviously just we can send the raw HTML to their web developer and they just embed it on there. All the work's done really, or they do it as part of their EDM, send out a direct mail to people on a regular basis saying, hey, don't forget, we've got this. Email signatures, there's many ways. It's just a link basically that you can encourage people to visit. So yeah, it's a real good, again, a USP, something that your office, Simon Weil Estate Agents, does that perhaps others don't do. You know, and you can put other resources in there as well. We had an office recently that have a moving home checklist. So they'll tell you what you should, don't forget to do all this stuff. Yeah. And then, you know, it's drawing them back in again. And then whilst they're there, they might be taking up extra services. So
I think we always work on the basis as well that, you know, home movers know exactly what's meant to be going on, what's in the process. But of course, that's an entirely wrong fallacy, isn't it? And actually, for it to be explained like that, just to say, look, we're going to help you. You can, of course, you can sort this out yourself, but we can take that problem, that headache. You just concentrate on the important stuff. Again, nice added value added service, isn't it, to be able to hold hand them.
Exactly that. Yeah, you know, this checklist, they're all tickable and they cross off as you do them. There's a little sort of speedometer, if you like, at the top that tells you what percentage of your tasks you've done to have done everything. So it's a really nice, like you said, it's just giving them that value add, you know, for no other benefit that they see that you're helping them with a home move. It's just all about, you know, providing that minimal effort.
And those home movers themselves, they're accessing it via, they can access it on any mobile device, I assume, and anything like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Any device, iPhone, iPad, laptop, whatever it is. As long as they've got internet, they can access it. It's all, yeah.
Cool. And I suppose one of the crucial questions you need to say is how easy is it to use? I mean, is it easy for the agent to use? Obviously, I'm assuming it's as easy as it possibly can be for the home mover. Where would you place it on the whole kind of, you know, usability scale of things?
Going back to probably one of our first points, isn't it? It's got to, prop tech's got to be easy, otherwise people just won't use it. So I mean, the easiest way is we integrate with CRMs, so it takes the work out of it. You know, at the moment we integrate with Repit, Techlet, SME Professional, MRI. They're just being released at the moment. Vault, my old lot, and we're looking to expand that as well into others. But you know, so quite a few of the bigger ones.
Yeah, you've got a very big combined client base with just those guys and some of the biggest players around, haven't you? So that's great to be able to do that, and that's a key part, isn't it? Because I think agents these days, they are so, I mean, obviously you can use your system in a standalone sense, but to take away another tick in the box just in terms of having that integration point is where agents want things to go, isn't it, really?
Yeah, exactly. They love that I word, don't they? Integration, you know, and for rightly so. But so many offices have so many systems now, and they're putting the same information into that one, then that one. So to have it all in one, it's kind of a no-brainer. So it's a real driver for me is to talk with more CRMs. We are going to expand that to cover, hopefully, I'd like to think all of them, but certainly the vast majority, so that the agents aren't having to do the data entry. At the moment, in answer to your question, we try to make that as easy as possible anyway. So they can go into the hub, customers, add customer, what's the address, what's the name, details, send, and that's all they need to do, and it comes through to us. We can build a little microsite, which is even easier. Address, name, details, and off it goes. So that's like a web form. Yeah. So without the integration, you're probably looking at 20 to 30 seconds, data entry, job done. Integrations is obviously a next level of easiness. So
just to be clear, that's all you're talking about anyway. In terms, so the onboarding there is, because again, the other thing whenever we're talking to agencies, quite often, you know, going back to our old world, you know, CRM is not an easy process, is it?
No.
You're talking about months or sometimes years to get that mass, you know, to really working to the max there. And the problem with that, as I think we both agree, you know, it's really important to get your CRM choice there, but it keeps getting kicked into the long grass by agents because they know it's such a big job. They're looking, and maybe it's a wrong thing, but so many of us are looking for a quick fix or something that you know that can be onboarded relatively easy. And what just jumped out at me there, that this is one of those that fits in that box, though, that this is a quick solution that can yield some quite quick results.
Yeah, exactly. It couldn't be more different, like you said, from CRM, which is what I come from, and you do as well, obviously.
So I'm looking so fresh faced these days.
Migration. There's you know, it couldn't be more different. You know, it's a massive decision. CRM, it's a massive transition. You know, everything goes through it. With this, if I speak to someone today, we can get them up and running later on today. We do all the work. We set them up. We set the staff up, ask them for a list of the staff, and then I'll give them a mini training session, or one of my colleagues. 15 minutes really doesn't need that, and they're good to go. They're referring people later on today, tomorrow. So, you know, and it couldn't be more easy migration-wise. You know, there's no upfront.
Getting started is one thing, but do you handhold them on an ongoing basis as well? You know, it's gone live and then it's left for them to get the most out of it, or do you continue to give advice on how to get kind of best practice and get the best results?
No, we definitely check in with them, especially in those first few weeks, first few months, until their habits, you know, change, or it becomes part of their process. But definitely, I reach out to people often because, you know, it's in our best interest as well. You know, we want them referring people through. We want them benefiting from it. We want them telling others how great we are. So no, we do have a sort of a health check quite regularly with them to see, you know, how's it going? Are you meeting any resistance from tenants or purchasers? You know, and there isn't really much, but you know, usually it's things like, what's the catch? Does it cost me something? A tenant might ask you. Well,
you'll have seen all these before. That's the crucial thing, isn't it? So you don't have to let people make the same mistakes or find their way through that. Look, when faced with this challenge, this is what we found a really useful way to explain it.
Exactly. There's so few challenges, but they're the classic too. But I've got a little deck that I've put together that I give to people when they're on board as well, which has frequently asked questions, you know, any blockers that you might have, what you should say. But really, it's really checking in with them and just seeing if they're having any issues, or, you know, anything they've learned from it, and just keeping them close, because, you know, once they start to get into see the benefits and get the positive feedback on their review sites, or people phoning them saying that was really great, thanks to your concierge department, it's made it all easier. Plus you're earning money off it. You know, it's a no-brainer in many ways. It's a funny word to use, but
No, I get it entirely, and I think, look, hitting back on that concierge thing. So there's actually almost a reputation and review management bonus here, isn't it? Is if you're going through that process. I think when we spoke off camera, you were saying if they're talking positively about it, you can bounce them there onto a review site as well to get them to leave positive reviews.
Yeah, that's right. So they get an email. You can turn it on or off, but most people turn it on. So when they connect, they get an automatic email asking them for a review, and then that will post to the usual suspects, you know, Trustpilot, Google, Facebook, which you determine within the system which are your specific ones. But you can set up a, I don't know what the word is really, a limit. So if it's below 4 out of 5, it doesn't go up, because you want a chance to put that right, or below 3, whatever you choose. So only ones with a 5-star review will go up. Otherwise, they go into a holding pattern, and you can talk with them. So yeah, that's massive, because you know they think they're dealing with you, and we're doing all the work. But you know, our reviews are, I think on Facebook and Google, 4.9 out of 5. I think 4.7 on Trustpilot. So they're right up there, you know. So I mean, white label is great if the other company's doing a good job. If they're not, that's bad, obviously. We've got fantastic reviews. So yeah, it's win-win, because you know it builds your positive profile.
But look, and I know you're doing a good job. I've already went and I had a look through. Obviously, I'm a bit of a review train spotter as well. So I went through, and there's a huge, you know, especially from that consumer side, which, and I think that's I repeat myself over and over recently. Unfortunately, is that we obviously always want to make sure we're doing right by the agents from a supplier standpoint. But what's much more relevant is those suppliers that are thinking about, okay, yeah, we've got to keep the agents happy, but how are we keeping their clients in the happiest position possible? Because if we're doing that, everything else will follow naturally anyway, won't it?
100%. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
And actually, as you said there is no reputational risk here per se, because if you follow that simple advice, it can only help the nurturing process with 4 or 5-star reviews going up there automatically. And as you said, the rest then falling into a holding pattern, whether that's a survey or a customer service call to help out, just to see what you could have done better.
And we learn from that, you know. That's where we go, okay, you know, whether that's something we could have done better, or you guys, when you referred and explained it, it's all learning. So, but yeah, absolutely. You know, based on the reviews alone, people can see that we get a really good rep. But it's not actually us, it's you guys, you know, the agents who have got their name against it. So I think that's massive. You know, for me, when I moved here, having been somewhere for 14 years, it needed to, I know there's other people in this space, other providers, but I needed something that had some real cool USPs. And, you know, these are the things that stuck out to me. The white labeling, the fact that it's sales and lettings, I think is huge, because as an ex-agent, I want those purchasers and the homeowners to have a fantastic experience, because I know I'm going to get more business off the back of it. And extensive reporting, I think, is another one. When you refer people through, you know exactly where you're up to, how much you're earning, what they've connected to. It's great.
Yeah, look, we both worked in that Australia market where I made myself popular with all the Aussies by calling them big and brash. But the one thing the Aussies that they're not afraid to do is to ask for their reviews. And we do, I think we're getting better, but we do have an issue in this country with asking for those reviews there. So again, for those people that are looking to nurture the right level of reviews, and I'm sorry, I am obsessing a little bit over this, but I think it's such an important area, isn't it? Is that ultimately you want people saying the right thing about you independently, that if you can get this as a tick on top of offering that concierge service, delivering a service so they feel you've done a good job, and making a revenue off the back of it, you've got a wonderful triple lock of benefits there, haven't you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just finishing off on the review part, I'm the same as you. I think it's massive. Every year it gets more important. I don't book anything, any holidays, anything without checking out reviews now. And here we are talking about the most important, you know, thing they might do with an agent is sell their home. So, you know, we want to have good reviews, and, you know, it's massive, and it's just another arm of your services that's great. So, but yeah, there are some really good benefits to Movinghub. You know, the fact that it's white labeled, it's sales and lettings, and, you know, the reviews is huge as well.
And I said ignore, I didn't say ignore, I said ignore what the agents actually think of this, but that's completely wrong. Talk us through what you hear back from your clients. What do they say about you? And indeed, what would you like them to be saying about you as a key partner?
When you say you're talking about Movinghub, not me personally.
I am.
Two different answers.
I'm not coming from the Simon Whale narcissistic. No.
Yeah, no, it's all positive. I've not, you know, I've only been with them since January, of course, but I've not had one negative, real positive. People surprised by, wow, this is great, you know. It's just win-win, you know. And because I'm constantly reaching out to people and seeing how it's going, I think people are surprised by how popular it is, how positive it is with their tenants, with their homeowners. And you know, I've got real proactive offices already, you know, putting them in, like I said, in the valuation kit and saying, you know, this is all the stuff we do, but also we're different. We've got this concierge department. They'll help you get better deals. You won't be making umpteen phone calls. You'll deal with one person in our team that will help you. I mean, it's just a great little difference, you know, that you don't have. So no, the feedback's been amazing. I'm really chuffed. You know, obviously you don't know when you move roles until you get into it, but it's been fantastic. Really, really positive.
No, it's nice. You've been able to, obviously, to see that angle. You've been there and to notice what's working, what's expected from people, I think is the key things here. Look, we've spoken a couple of times now in terms of the integrations. Let's just tap into that again. Obviously, you mentioned there in terms of the main ones, absolutely fantastic. What does the integration actually look like? Is it pretty much similar in all of those, or are there slight differences and tweaks in the way that the integration works? Is it a two-way kind of integration? Well, just give us a bit of context about how that looks for most people.
Yeah, I won't single out ones that don't do it two ways, if that's okay, but the majority of them do both way integration, as you've just said. So it's with one in particular, when you exchange a property, like I mentioned earlier, when you go let agreed, whatever it is, it just sends us the information. It knows the property, it knows the person's name, it knows the relevant dates, if we put those in, contact details and so on, sends them through to us, we refer them into the system and away we go. But when because I've talked about our hub having extensive reporting, that can either be an iframe or API endpoints that they're getting too technical for people out there. They're basically sucked back into the CRM. So on their dashboard, they'll be able to see Repit. I mentioned it earlier anyway. For example, Repit, within Repit, there's a dashboard where they can see real time where the customers are up to, who's connected. So it is two ways. So there's really no need with a good integration, which is the majority of them, to leave the CRM. You know, that's the key thing.
That's lovely. I mean, but regardless of anything, the efficiency drive you get off the back of it is that you're not having to rekey data, which is the thing that absolutely agents just everyone hates, don't they, in general? Because as we know, the minute that you put an artificial block, like even what seems like a simple cut and paste when people are busy, means that the fall off, the drop off rate, the bounce rate is massive, isn't it? Unless you have that kind of approach.
Yeah, definitely. It's huge, you know, and that's you know, it's key. You don't want them. People hate that. You talk to any offices, and you do it way more than I do, but you know, they hate the double entry, triple entry, and they use so many systems now that if we can just say, look, it's baked in, you don't have to do anything. You know, you just do your normal stuff. It sends it to us, but you can see real time what's going on with each one and know that it's done, because you do want to know that the council tax and the water's been done. We don't earn anything for those, and the agents don't either. It's more of a loss leader for us to get into upsell other products. But you still need to know as an agent that those things are being done. So it's all there baked into the CRM without them leaving. So I think that's huge. There are one or two that are just send referrals through to us, but we are working on that being the two-way integration as well. But the majority are two-way. So.
Well, at least I think, you know, in our day, wasn't it, going back, it was a very much closed garden, if you like. You know, it was very, I suppose, Apple-esque in its early days, where they tried to do everything themselves. The nice thing is that the CRMs are moving towards that, you know, that much open kind of almost app store environment, isn't it?
I don't know what you mean by in our day. I'm only 21, Simon. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, exactly. We've got high expectations now, people, haven't they? There's so many things they know that prop tech should do. So, you know, you don't want them double handling. You want it, you know, you want it baked in, like I keep using that word, but no effort. And that's what we want as well, because we get the referrals come through.
And the reporting side of things, you mentioned there, I guess one of the big benefits you're getting as well, you see all of these success stories coming in from the other agents on those dashboards. So you can see, like, and I'm imagining being able to give feedback to the agents as well, what good looks like, because some of them might not, you know, they might be judging individual staff members or indeed even individual offices. But they, you know, they're unlikely to get their competitors to share that information with them. So you across the country, and I'm sure anonymized, can be saying, look, actually, you could probably be doing, you know, a little bit better. Let's try and work with you to get, you know, to get those figures up.
Definitely, yeah. And we will quote them what the conversion rate is, you know, across the board, because a lot of it is down to as we said before, pre-positioning clients. It's one thing sending us the referrals, but just that little 10-second conversation that the agent has with that person saying, hey, we've got this concierge department, no obligation, they'll get you better deals. Are you happy for them to contact you? And, you know, away it goes. That little conversation makes a hell of a difference, you know. So, you know, we'll share with them intel and say, look, this is our national average. You're actually tracking lower than that. Let's have a look at how we can get you up to above that national average. So absolutely. And within someone's account, like you said, of course, they can see that. They can compare staff members. Simon's got much higher amount of referrals coming through, much higher conversion rate. What's Simon doing that John isn't doing or whatever? So, you know, there's intel.
That's really, really good. So I mean, obviously, fantastic position where you're at the moment. What are you looking at over the course of the year? Is it looking for a land grab in terms of there? Have you got anything exciting in terms of development? Give us an idea of what the rest of the year looks like for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, for me, being new to the role, it's getting some more traction. Integrating with more and more CRMs to make it an easier solution for people is key. We are looking at other avenues as well of things like that. But it's a very innovative company. I probably can't give too much away at the moment, but
I always ask the question, never getting it on.
It's all right, and I probably should be able to tell you, but they're always adding new functions. But it was one of the appeals for me when I moved across them, as they're looking to diversify with regards to the benefits that they would give to a Movinghub, not separate products, more benefits to the Movinghub product. So they are they're very innovative. So watch this space, and I'll be able to say more.
All I was going to say is, Christian, I don't mind you not telling me now, just as long as you do it on Kerfuffle when it's
off
out.
camera.
Oh
yeah, okay.
That's what we're going.
You're first to know, mate.
Great. Well, it sounds really, really exciting. It sounds obviously, you know, for you to go there with your background and knowledge of everything, I think that's shows a big testament to what the company's able to do and everything else. So that's a big touch. We've already got reviews on our website starting to go live as well. And as you said, you know, those many ones you've got on Google and Facebook that are testimonials from obviously the agent's own clients as well. So that's always a fantastic validation and almost a digital due diligence to show that you're dealing with the right company, isn't it? So if anyone, I suggest today, is anyone of us, course, go to Movinghub on kerfuffle.com, see further information about them, an overview. You can click on there to contact, and we'll pass the details over to Christian and his team to get in contact from that there. Or of course, go to the normal places. Just give us it's movinghub.com, isn't it, your website there, Christian?
That's it. Couldn't be easier. Yeah, movinghub.com, and then it's all on there.
Come via Kerfuffle, of course, so Christian understands just how wonderful our little pink company is, and that's really, really interesting. Well, look, for today, Christian, I think that's a really interesting overview. I certainly understand a lot more of it, and I just think for anybody that's got that triple desire to offer services very, very simply without additional work needed to be done internally, the ability to earn revenue, and of course, all importantly, to help nurture those reviews. There's a real reason to pick up the phone and talk to you at the moment. So I think there's a really interesting business there.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the opportunity. Great to chat.
Great stuff. Well, let's catch up in the future with all those exciting things you can't tell me.
That's it. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.